given us, Chair, they have given us a total of 6.3, but the one that was being followed up was 7.6 million.
That's so, the ESCC one?
Yeah. Out of 12, it means that 6 million has been paid. That's why they are following up 6.3 million. And also interest, Chair, through the interest.
What we can do, because we have much bigger issues in the report, we have a standard recommendation on recovery of interest. That is one area where the TFM regulations have been very clear on what action needs to be taken. So you don't even need to waste time. If these are not going to bear any fruit, the onus is on the accounting officer. I think that's how the PFM regulation is crafted. Our recommendation would be the accounting officer within certain timeframes must recover the money with interest, failure to which they shall bear the loss.
Maybe, Chair, in 30 seconds, I think this is one of the counties that are a bit efficient in terms of recovery suits, because most of them even don't write demand letters. So I think this, I hope these suits will yield to something, that the recovery of this 6.3 million shall be achieved. But the fact that there is evidence of action and spanner into works is a bit comfortable.
Fine.
To some extent.
Thank you. So we proceed to...
Yeah.
Yes, Senator Wakoli.
I want to ask the current status of imprests in Bungoma. Many of our staff always cite these things to enjoy like others. I put it to us, are our staff, including those who are here, benefiting, or they equally have pending interests, my governor? Because I always get petitions that some of our close friends, those who accompany you, those who work with our CECs, in the county government, they are always requested just to sign forms and nothing forthcoming. So I wanted to ask, is the management of impress handled properly, or it is a tool for, as we saw, remittances not being remitted at the benefit of other people? Thank you.
Okay, Senator Sifuna.
Chair, just a concern. If you look at some of the cases there, the reason why that interest was taken, it's quite shocking, Governor, that you have somebody holding 3.6 million shillings of interest for the facilitation of the Christmas tree lighting celebration in a county such as Bungoma with all our challenges, Chair. You know, it doesn't make any sense.
I agree, Chair. Unfortunately, it was not me. It was the previous. It's wrong, actually, to hold such an impress, but we'll recover. Thank you, Chair.
So you spent 3.689 million for Christmas tree celebration. Facilitation for Christmas tree celebration. 3.689 million. Governor, you see the things that make people feel like devolution is not working. I thought we had seen crazier things where there was a housewarming for 5 million. Now you have a Christmas tree lighting at 3.6 million, Chair, and the money has not even been brought back.
Chair, just for the record, because I know media will say I am the one who has done that. It is 2019. Please, Chair, I also need protection. Because what is going
to... Oh, you are not under any threat, Governor.
Because, you are dressing like, it's me. Out here, people are watching it live. People are watching it live.
I am dealing with the county government of Bungoma.
Yes, no, that is right.
The county government of Bungoma spends 3.68 million for Christmas tree celebration.
This is...
at 2019.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the county government of Bungoma spends 3.689 million for Christmas tree celebration. I mean, I thought we had
problems in agreement. It's 2019, but you should be very careful, because when I was driving around, I think I saw a Christmas tree this December. So we are just saying.
No, let me put on record.
We are just saying.
No Christmas tree, Chair.
This Christmas.
This last Christmas.
Christmas tree.
Okay. So
if you saw any tree, it was not for Christmas. It was just a tree for.
Most interestingly, Chair, you will see that imprest is being taken on the 9th of September. A whole 3 months before Christmas. These are some of the things that happen in these counties that make many of us worry. And these are things that people must answer for.
Governor, is Francis Tome still in the county?
Francis?
Tome.
He exited.
He exited. This is a guy who was lighting up a Christmas tree in September at a cost of 3.6 million. You see why it's difficult sometimes to fight for more resources to go to county government?
There's a clarification here.
Chair, maybe we need to be on the same page because whatever we have here, the impress warrant is facilitation to Mbale benchmarking.
But no, my friends. We are reading your documents.
We are reading your documents. The case that you have told us you have filed in court is a plaint and an affidavit sworn in support of those facts by the county attorney, by a gentleman called Ambrose Makoha. Who is Ambrose Makoha? These are your own documents, Governor. We're not making this thing up. We are reading paragraph 5 of the plaint, County Government of Bungoma versus Francis Tome.
And in fact, it had been served.
And it says, on or about, for avoidance of doubt, on or about 9th of September 2019, the defendant requested and was issued with a temporary imprest in the sum of Kenya shillings 3,689,000 for the facilitation of the Christmas tree lighting celebration.
That's the plate.
That is your document. It's a Christmas tree lighting. It's 3.6 million, and it is in September. Honorable Chair of Public Accounts Committee of the Assembly, how do you allow yourselves to budget such expenditure? How do you sit down as members of County Assembly and say that we'll light a Christmas tree in September and we'll give the executive 3.6 million? How is this possible? Because the governor might argue that it was budgeted.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We do not have such an item in the budget.
But 3.6 million was spent.
Then that is fraud.
Do you light your Christmas trees in September?
It's supposed to be in December, not September.
Chair, maybe...
Honorable Chair, I would like...
Please proceed, Senator Okoli.
I want to say that this amount was spent in September, as it's seen, and all of us who happened to be alive that time, it was a very ceremonial function where people had Christmas hats and with some good tents, and they were jumping like nursery school children at the governor's office compound. It is very annoying, and those who chewed this money continue to lecture Kenyans on how prudent use of resources should be done. So I want to seek indulgence, Chair, that apart from following up this money, ESCC should revisit this, so that it is a lesson to government officers who use such kind of ceremonies to swindle public money and to doing Kenyans that they are benevolent, caring, and loving during festivity seasons. Thank you.
Chair, in
Senator Okoli, but you just indicated that people were very happy. on that occasion?
Yeah, the beneficiaries through the chair.
The ones who are jumping up and down.
You know, I want to warn my chief if it might turn into a witness to this matter, but since he's a senator, I know where he was working before he became the senator. The point, Governor, just as an observation on this issue of Christmas tree lighting celebration, so you have looked, there is a problem with the management of imprest. Maybe give us an assurance that what are you doing? Because when you are our speaker, when you travel, you approve for our travel. When we land back and we must give boarding pass, for example, the passport that has been stamped, and even invitation letter. Then you are able to surrender your imprest. What is the management of the imprest on this? Because, Chair, this 3.6 million that was used for Christmas tree lighting celebration is very unfortunate. I want to agree with the area senator that the EACC must and should pick up the matter so that this thing can be, because, Chair, it's no different from what we saw in Auswami of 5 million. And now we are having 3.6 million of tree lighting on September 2019, 9th September 2019. And for us who are Christians, we know December is the Christmas. Or maybe Bungoma has a unique way of celebrating Christmas. Maybe their Christmas came early, but this 3.6...
In Ethiopia, the new year was in our November, so maybe they're using the Ethiopian calendar.
Maybe they're using the Ethiopian calendar.
Yeah.
But this 3.6 million, and I want us to find also from the county attorney through the governor, has this matter been filed in court already? But this 3.6 million on Christmas tree lighting, Chair, should and must be recovered. And I hope, Governor, the people who did this should never come to any elective positions in Bungoma again. Because, as my chair said, it is hard, all of us fight for resources, day in and day out, to increase the resources. Then when it goes there, they're using for housewarming, they're using for lighting Christmas trees, they're also using for buying seedlings in areas where there is drought 24/7. So, Chair, I think there is a bigger problem than what we are imagining.
Chair, may the county attorney also just make a clarification?
Before he makes a clarification, Senator
Chair, my worry is that this money might never be recovered. Because if there are discrepancies between what you have told the court and what your documents show, the people of Bungoma will never get this money back. Number two, some of these people are very well known to me. Yes, I can see these names. These are names that are known within Bungoma County. I can assure you, Chair, most of them are, the problem with imprest, Chair, is that you can forward somebody's name as your PA or somebody else to take the money, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he is the one who ends up with the money. There are bigger people behind these imprest malpractices. And I'm looking at these names. I don't want to read them because they will be on the news. But I am sure some of them are impecunious. I know them. They left employment.
Through the chair. You know, this is a matter of saving the lives of those who are under stress and depression to account for these monies. So if we know them and we want to restore hope to those who are used to get this money, please, my brother, just read them loudly so that the people of Bungoma can know.
Fine, let me give directions.
Yes.
The names are in the documents before us, so he does not have to read.
I want through his courage
Senator,
to read.
You're done?
Maybe
I think let's get back to the substance. Governor?
County attorney, can you clarify?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm looking at the document, the imprest warrant, vis-a-vis that letter done by my assistant.
Point of order, Chair. It is Edward Waswa, County Attorney, County Government of Bungoma for the plaintiff.
We are not reading a letter. We are reading the plaintiff filed in court.
Yes.
It has already been filed.
Waswa, can you get to the point? Because
Yes,
you're causing yourself unnecessary problems.
My colleagues and counsel is that...
and he's very powerful. He has an assistant.
Yes, the narration for that demand was not correct. It was the narration was supposed to be a facilitation Tumbale benchmarking. If you look at paragraph...
So the letter by the Chief Officer Finance dated 5th of September 2024 has a similar narration.
Yes. The one that was written to the office seeking that, the first one, if you look at the page, there's 16.
The Chief Officer Finance, who is the accounting officer for these purposes, has clearly indicated that the reason for interest for Francis Tome is facilitation for Christmas tree celebration. How can the county attorney be wiser than the chief officer, who is a custodian of all these records?
Most importantly, Chair, these documents were presented to us to demonstrate action that has been taken. You have given us court documents, Wakili, you know, parties are bound by their pleadings.
Yes,
this is what you are telling the magistrate's court in Bungoma at paragraph 5.
Yes, I agree.
Now, are you telling us we have no chance of recovery because you have already given the defense?
No, I agree, senior, and I agree.
You have an amended plaint.
I agree, senior, and we also note that we're allowed to amend pleadings before close of pleadings. We can amend them. So I don't think there's any issue. There's no alarm. It was just a narration from if you look at the letter from the chief officer.
No, Chair, on a point of order. Why would you say there is no alarm when you have indicated that 3.6 million was put on the Christmas tree lighting?
Chair, will allow me to direct the members to the document.
Now,
the
Governor, we are not making useful.
Yes.
We are not using our time in a useful manner. What we have here is a document from the Chief Officer Finance. We've got pleadings by the County Attorney, Edward Waswa. We are not going to amend those documents before the Senate. And you have said it clearly that you were with us in the Senate when these things were happening. And that's a fact. But we must point out the madness that goes on in county governments. And that is why in your 5 years in the Senate, you saw we fought 11 times to pass the new formula for allocation of revenue. And I hope one day you'll write a book about that particular scenario. But if we do all that fighting for money to go to counties, to be spent in September for lighting up Christmas trees, I don't think that's the reason why devolution was brought in. I think on this matter, members, beyond relying on what the PFM regulations require for recovery, this is a matter that is unethical. This is a matter that must be escalated to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. I know they're around, and this is a matter that we must mark to them, because it cannot be acceptable. Really, guys, diverting money for KIPES to go to borders, diverting money from executive to go to housewarming, at least there's a house you can see being warmed. But using 3.6 million for Christmas tree celebration in September, and the money remains unaccounted for. You see, that's the worst thing. If the money was drawn in September, used, the Christmas tree lit up, and surrendered, it would not be before us. So, Governor, it's a shame that these things are happening within the county government of Bungoma. Now you are the new captain. You need to ensure that such things do not recur, but these people must be held accountable. Otherwise, the people of Bungoma might just as well give up on devolution. So, can we close at that point and move to the next issue? Because I think we have prosecuted this enough.
There was just a small matter on impress management. How are they doing now? Because if he's saying it is in the in 30 seconds.
Considering the time, let's leave that to the auditor so that they report in the next audit cycle.
Okay.
So let's progress. We are done with the issues that were raised with the financial statements. We will take your written responses on budgetary control and performance and resolve prior year matters. We'll also consider the written responses. On excessive wage bill, Governor, we are alarmed that your wage bill has grown from 47% to 53%. We have gone to the report on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. Now, as we had said at the beginning, We were concerned about how you manage your human resource. If 53% of your expenditure goes to employees, you have seen some of the gaps, unremitted statutory remittances, lapses or gaps in insurance coverage for staff. If there's something you must do, Governor, to stabilize your county is to change the way the human resource is managed. And you have indicated that you now have a public service board. You have indicated that, did you say the HR director was here? The HR director ought to have been here because that is the professional. That is a person who is a subscriber to a professional body. And we would be declaring her unfit to be a member, her or him, unfit to be a member of a professional body. When you have such issues. Issue number 1, excessive wage bill, HR. Number 2, lack of ethnic diversity, HR. Number 3, employees on long-term probation, HR. Number 4, recruitment without approved staff establishment, HR. Number 5, failure to reserve employment positions for persons living with disability, HR. Number 6, non-adherence to the 1/3 basic pay rule, HR. Number 7, employment of staff on contract without gratuity, HR. 7 issues touching on the HR function. Now, unless you want us to go through specific issues, but I would like perhaps, if we are going to take your written responses, but get your comment on the measures you're putting in place to address all these issues that keep recurring in Bungoma on human resource.
Thank you, Chair. I think one of the issues, if you look at our response, was a court order that said, some casuals had gone to court, and the court ruled that they all be absorbed and put on permanent and pensionable. So that became difficult. We tried to argue our case in court, but we didn't succeed, so that has brought a bit of a problem. The other thing is on, for example, ethnic diversity of staff establishment. I think is a problem across board, where you find even those who don't come from Bungoma and in other places want to come back to Bungoma, they want to come back home. So as much as you try to balance, you recruit, you find that the dominant ethnic community will always take the larger share. So it's something, I don't know how it will be addressed, but again, you can imagine if you go, let me give you an example of Bungoma. We have 5 major ethnic groups: the Bukusus, the Sabots, the Tesos, the Tachonis, and the Batura. So, and if you go by percentage, you realize that the Bukusus are the majority. So when you employ, you realize that they will definitely be the majority, there will be a higher number. So it's, as much as we try our level best to accommodate even the other percentage, it's a bit of a challenge. The other issues are...
Maybe just to be specific, yeah. How many employees do you have?
6,000. What was it, that number? CS? We do, yes.
Under your staff establishment, what is the ideal number of employees that you require to deliver services?
You can answer that. CS?
Governor?
CS, I thought the CS would have that.
Yeah, because you're saying you have a staff establishment. The staff establishment is not just an organogram. It defines the positions required and the numbers required in an ideal situation. Governor, you have submitted on oath that you have a staff establishment, so that information ought to be there.
We can provide it. The Director, Human Resource, should have been here to provide that information.
The County Secretary is the head of the County Public Service. If you chose not to come with HR Director, the County Secretary will take the arrows. How can you not know the content of your staff establishment? Has it been approved by the Cabinet? Has the staff establishment been approved by the Cabinet?
It was approved.
So if it was approved, County Secretary, what did you approve? What did Cabinet approve? You have 7,085, eating up 53% of your total revenue. In your staff establishment, are you saying you need 10,000 or you say you need 5,000? Because if you have a staff establishment that requires 10,000 people, then for you to implement it, the problem is going to get worse. So this is a question that I think CC level, governor level, it's a question that you must be able to address. What is your ideal number of employees as per your staff establishment? Is that staff establishment appended here? Because it was a substantive audit query. Recruitment without approved staff establishment.
It was not put, I think it has not been put. Yeah.
So it means that that matter is unaddressed, because the auditor had queried that you didn't have a staff establishment, it had not been approved, but in your response you're saying you have it. So if you have it, then that figure must be there. Now, Governor, you know, now you need to crack the whip, because we know you. You have been with us for 5 years. Someone should not make you look like you don't know what you're doing. That information, there must be someone you're employing. There's someone you're paying a salary to have that information. Because I know you're at CEO, you might not have the specifics. Who's that person you're paying a salary to know these things?
County Secretary, can you say something?
County Secretary, you are being paid a salary to have this information. Tell us, what is your ideal staff complement as per your approved staff establishment?
Put on the mic.
It's not on?
Okay. Chair, thank you so much. We have a staff establishment. When I came in office last year, we didn't have one, and this matter was actually recurring. We went and we worked on it. The document came to the cabinet, was approved. We have 7,800. The
7,800 or 7,085?
7,085. But as we speak now, because of the issues that are coming up, for example, from the courts, where the court has now ruled in favor of the casuals, and that is around 463. Now we are having excess numbers because the court has directed us to employ them.
No, that's not a problem.
Yes.
That's not a problem. As per your staff establishment, what is your ideal number?
It's around 7,800.
Around.
Are you saying something that is verifiable? You know, if you don't have it, you just tell us you don't have it.
Yeah, I don't have the exact figure now, because what we were doing was we were looking at every department, what is the optimal number. Like, for example, health, we have the numbers. So I don't have the breakdown to all of them, so that we have the exact number to tell this committee at the moment.
As the head of the county public service, isn't it alarming that you do not know your ideal county public service?
That's an oversight, Chair. I think I will familiarize myself with the total numbers from all the departments now.
Yeah, I think in your role, that's a number you should be working with everywhere you go.
Chair,
Senator Rake?
so you are saying sometimes last year you did staff establishment, but the year under review, you employed 642 without staff establishment. What were your basis that you are doing this employment, yet you have indicated on record that you had already through the cabinet the approval of staff establishment? So who are these 642? Is it part of the people who are casuals? Because, Chair, if you look at in the report, that there were 694 employees serving on probation for a long period, up to 20 years. So these 642, were they new ones, or was an addition of 694 employees who are uncasual? Number one. Number two, what was the basis of the court order that you got? And then number 3, this staff establishment and segregation of staff. These 7,085 chair, are they in permanent and pensionable terms, or the others who are on casual? If you can answer those 3 questions, Chair, would it be not? And finally, maybe the MCS, with this staff establishment, when you did the audit, were you able to see this document? Because it's just a document that should be provided. Chair, I yield back.
Fine, you can have very quick responses so that we can go to projects.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The number that we have given, that is 7,085, it comprises both those on permanent and those ones also who are on contract. Now, the numbers that we employed last year, those were also casuals who had worked for several years, especially in the Department of Health. And my Honorable Senator, our colleague, is very much briefed to this matter. So that figure was more of regularization because they were also casuals. The other casuals, the 463, those ones were casuals who were working in the defunct system. And therefore, they went to court in 2013, and the case has tracked on until it was finalized this year, and that is why we are bringing them on board. So those are the 2 categories of casuals that we are referring to.
Now, honorable members, there was a payroll audit that was done by the Office of the Auditor-General. OAG, can you confirm that it covered Bungoma County?
Yes, it covered Bungoma County, Honorable Chair.
We had agreed as a committee that all counties whose wage bill was above 50%, we were going to conduct an inquiry so that we deal with the specific issues, we get to the bottom of the problems, and we find out from the counties if there is any intervention that they need from the Senate. I want to propose that all these HR issues, even though we are going to consider the written responses, we are going to make specific recommendations, but Bungoma will be on the list of the counties that will appear before this committee to go through the payroll audit by the Office of the Auditor-General. So I think the HR issues here some of them we have already covered. Employment of staff on contract without gratuity provision. I think that was the 549 million that we were talking about earlier. So I think that will be the direction. We'll take the written responses, make our recommendations, but have a specific meeting to address the payroll audit. Governor, again, the auditor is citing failure to provide monthly progress reports of procurement contracts. The person you pay a salary to provide monthly progress report, who is that person? We have moved to failure to provide monthly progress reports of all procurement contracts. Who is the person who's paid a salary in Bungoma to provide monthly progress reports?
It's the Director of Procurement.
Is the Director of Procurement here?
He's not in.
And I believe the Director of Procurement is a member of the Institute of Supply Chain. Yes. So why would someone be a member of a professional body if they cannot execute such small things? I think on this, Auditor General, did they subsequently prepare it, or it's still a problem?
They did, but those reports are again incomplete because they don't have the required information.
We shall be citing the Director Supply Chain for professional negligence, but not just for professional negligence. I'm sure that there are offenses under the Act, and I'm sure this is one of them. So that one, I think, Governor, we have moved to a new regime where we are not just blaming the governor. We are putting the blame right where it belongs. Because if someone was to provide a procurement monthly progress report and is being paid a salary for it and is not doing it, and you are doing nothing about him, then you have to do something about him. But don't wait for us to be the ones to initiate action. So there will be recommending administrative action, professional action, or sanction, as well as the provisions of the Act as far as offenses are concerned. Project implementation status report, again, this looks like a procurement issue. Is that a procurement issue, or that was, who's responsible for this? Chief Officer Finance?
Chair, it's the Director Procurement and Director Budget.
So again, Director Procurement is on this. We will look at what you have responded and take a view. Payment for subscription to other entities. This is an old problem. It was there when the governor was our speaker. We have a standard recommendation. Whereas we support the economic blocks, we just want to ensure that when you are sending public money to these institutions, there is a clear legal framework. And you recall that the then Senator Nyamunga had proposed a law on regional economic blocks. We understand the value of these blocks, but we must apply the law as it is. Honorable members, we consider the written responses, but I do not think that there's anything that can explain that kind of expenditure. Unexplained procurement and distribution of fertilizer. Here we had a problem. Auditor-General, what was your finding, so that we quickly look at the governor's response?
Honorable Chair, this fertilizer was supposed to have been sold at a rate of to 2,000 per bag, but it was given free of charge. And that 2,000 was provided for under Finance Act 2023. And management has indicated that there was a policy.
Order. Since you had advised us, you can see that the issues that your advised us are, we keep in view. We can dispense with them as efficiently as I'm doing. But this one, you said there was an issue. So just read the finding. This one, let's be keen on the details. Just read your finding, and then we get the governor's response.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Unexplained procurement and distribution of fertilizer. The county executive awarded a contract to a local company on 17th December 2024 at a sum of Kenya shillings 50,452,200 for the supply of planting and top dressing fertilizers to the 45 wards, and the payment was made on 22nd March 2025 for Kenya shillings 26 million. The fertilizer was delivered in the financial year 2024-25. Additionally, the county executive awarded a contract to a local firm on 18th February 2025 at a sum of Kenya shillings 56,250,000 for the supply of planting and top dressing fertilizers for the 45 wards. Review of the Bungoma County Finance Act 2023 indicated that the subsidized fertilizer was to be sold at Kenya shillings 2,000 per bag for planting fertilizer and top dressing fertilizer. However, no supporting documents were provided for audit to confirm that the fertilizer was sold at the recommended price of Kenya shillings 2,000 per bag or distributed to the farmers free of charge. In the circumstances, the county executive may have lost the public funds in respect of expected revenue from the sale of subsidized fertilizer. Thank you.
Governor, you may respond.
We're saying to enhance food security to all residents of the county, free farm inputs were issued local vulnerable farmers as provided in the attacked Bungoma County Agriculture Sector Policy issued in October 2023. Additionally, the management has submitted Bungoma County Agriculture Inputs and Service Support Bill 2024 to the County Assembly that provides a legal framework on distribution of farm inputs. Attached is a letter of submission of the bill to the County Assembly. Chair, you know, since my first term, we were subsidizing inputs to our farmers. Now, there was a proposal in the Finance Bill of 2023 that we sell to the farmers. On review, we realized it was going to cause a political problem, and my senator can bear me witness if we started selling. And when we proposed that to go back to the free subsidies that we were giving, the 2024 Finance Bill did not go through. So farm inputs were given free of charge, and the lists are there and of the beneficiaries for both fertilizer and the seeds. So it's a practice that we have been having since 2013 of subsidizing and giving free fertilizer or inputs to our farmers. Yes, Chair.
Governor, you have not addressed the County Finance Act of 2023 because that's the basis upon which the auditor has reached his conclusion.
And in fact, Chair, although the governor makes reference to those documents in his response, we don't have those documents here. I don't have the county agriculture sector policy, which you have referenced as 17A. I do not have the bill. So perhaps maybe, unless it is just my copy that was...
No, it's not there. They're just placeholders.
Chair, we had shared the soft copy with the OAG.
Were you not aware you are coming to the Senate? If you've responded and brought the attention of the Senate to Appendix 17A and 17B, does it mean that we are just, we are not useful in this session? The OAG did their bit. They've done their audit. It is now in the hands of Parliament. That should never be an explanation brought before the Senate. Governor, you may need to guide your team.
Also, Chair, in my understanding of what the query was is that the OAG is telling us they don't know whether this fertilizer was given for free or sold. That you have to show something. You have to give something to show what happened to this fertilizer, because it's a lot of money. 56 plus 26, that's almost 82 million.
Through the chair, as Senator Sifuna gives his opinion, it's also prudent to find out. Government has been procuring cheap or affordable fertilizer to farmers across the country. Is what national government providing different from what we procure to give for free? And what informs us to procure what we have done and not tapping into the wide resource of government to import more at a cheaper price and give more to the people of Bungoma? Thank you.
Senator Chirake?
In addition, let me pick it up from where the area senator has left. I thought, Governor, the government through national subsidy program on fertilizer, and you know he has more authority because he's also the chair of agriculture like you, is through National Cereals Produce Board. But when I see that you are using a local company, because we are paying 2,500 for subsidized. So does it mean they subsidize from 7,000 to 2,500? So does it mean, how do you procure on this? Number two, you have said there is a bill. Have you ascended it now into law, or is it still a bill? Then on the issue of the rejection, I think I've heard you say that the Finance Act of 2023 and 2024, you have just given us that there is a forwarding letter of a bill to the county assembly, but you have not given us an assentment, because you are the one who should ordinarily ascend this finance bill into the act. So question one, this procurement from an independent instead of National Cereals and Produce Board. Number two, is this bill an act now? And number three, you ascended to this bill fully aware that you had indicated that you wanted to subsidize and sell it at 2,000 to farmers. And then finally, Chair, this list of farmers on 45 wards, how many are they? Were you giving a household or individual farmer? You know, there is a difference between the household and individual farmer. And you saw what happens to the seedling story of Mandera, where we were being told everything that is planted across the Dawa River was provided for county. But when it came out, it was not direct beneficiary to the farmers. So is it to the households or individual farmers? And how many are they in this across 45 wards, Chair?
Okay.
Because
Governor, I think the point is made. Senator Akoli, let's make the brief.
Just, and the list as requested or asked by Senator Cheragay of farmers, have you ever done a forensic look at the list to confirm that the lists that are being forwarded to you as beneficiaries are the true beneficiaries of the fertilizer, or they are conduits, at least just written for purposes of receiving fertilizer and benefiting somebody who is taking advantage of the process. Thank you.
Governor?
Thank you. I think to start with, we moved from maybe the last financial year, we bought from government to government at 2,000. So we didn't give to a private, after the audit was done, we didn't give now this time to a private supplier. It was government to government, National Cereals Board. The lists that we normally have vetting committees at all the ward, in all the wards, which includes the MCA, it includes the ward administrators, and all the other stakeholders who come up with a list of the beneficiaries, the vulnerable people. And we verify and confirm that those are vulnerable people, and people can even see it's normally public participation before the fertilizer is given out. So I think that list, expected that the agriculture people should have forwarded the list. Okay, did you forward the list of the beneficiaries, because it should be there, and I'm sure that it's there. Why it was not provided for, I don't know. You can explain, Mani.
Yes. If you allow me, Chair, at the time of audit, the list was reviewed, and that query was dropped. The component of failure to provide was dropped because the list was reviewed. So what remains is to authority to issue it for free.
No, we would want to get that assurance as a Senate, because the amounts involved, the 82 million, is approximately 41,000 bags. If you assume it's 2,000 per bag, it comes to about 41,000. Members, it is for us to make recommendations on what the governor must do, but the fact is there was a Finance Act of 2023 that required the fertilizer to be paid for. The fertilizer was not paid for.
To be sold.
Yes, to be sold at 2,000. That was an act of the county assembly. It is lawful, and I think what you are required to do was to abide by it, or if it's impractical, to amend it. So it was not amended, so the law stands.
So are you saying we made a mistake to give free fertilizer to vulnerable people of Bungoma?
Because you signed a law, and all the laws of the county are signed by the governor. You, Governor Lusaka, signed a law saying you will give out fertilizer at a subsidized rate of 2,000. You signed it. We're just asking you to abide by the law that you signed.
Can an executive order overrule?
You cannot overrule the county assembly through an executive order.
Okay. Otherwise, Governor, there would be no need to bring a bill before the assembly. You should just have done it from the initial stages.
You have been the Speaker of the Senate, the upper house.
Of course,
and you know, if you were to go by executive orders, a lot of things would not have happened the way they happened in the past.
Anyway, I get your point, but we gave free fertilizer to our people. Maybe I told you when we took the other bill, the GNC issue came up. You remember, even the national one failed. It will not take off, and we also became casualties of the same. But I understand we will amend so that we continue giving free fertilizer or free inputs to the vulnerable groups. Sure.
County Assembly, how do you feel when your laws are treated as suggestions that can be reversed by executive order?
And maybe as the MCA comes, they can also confirm whether they saw that fertilizer in their wards, because that's about 1,000 bags per ward.
It was 500 per ward.
I was using the chair's math. 41,000 bags divided by 45 wards.
What I'm telling you, Honorable Senator, is exactly what we gave. 21,900 benefited. Of course, it was 500 per ward times 45 wards in Bungoma.
Okay, we'll relate that to the numbers before us. Honorable Member?
Thank you, Chair. I confirm that actually the 45 wards, each ward was receiving 500 bags of 500 bags of top dresser fertilizer, and planting fertilizer also 500, and also seeds were given to the farmers. And in this regard, I want to also confirm that in regard to what Honorable Senator Sifuna has said. The fertilizer was given to specific farmers. Actually, when we are doing vetting, we don't do vetting in regard to the maybe families, but we look at the specific farmers. Then there are some things we look at, maybe if somebody has land or doesn't have land, to go utilize that using our village admins. So that is what actually happened.
Address yourself to the law that you passed.
In regard to the law that we passed at the assembly, actually the fertilizer was supposed to be sold at 2,000 shillings to the farmers, but eventually the tradition was there; it was being given for free. So
when you're writing the law, the tradition was not there.
No, it was there. Initially, they were giving it for free, but later on we passed the law at the assembly. But at the time of giving, after recruitment, it was given to the farmers. It was provided by the county government and given to the farmers for free.
Does it concern you that you have passed a law and the executive is not following the law?
Yes.
Or does it concern you that you have passed a law that is at odds with what the public needs?
Yes, it does, Honorable Chair, and that's why we really need to do that amendment, so that you see, this fertilizer is meant to benefit our farmers who are not able to sustain themselves, and it has really worked good for the people of Bungoma County. The only thing we need to do as an assembly is to get that amendment. Then we amend the law so that when we are giving fertilizer this year, we do it in accordance to the law, so that this query again doesn't appear.
Is it a case of us mourning more than the bereaved? Because it is their law that is offended, but it does not seem to be worried. But Senator Wakoli,
thank you, Chair. Maybe you can, Honorable.
You can have a seat.
I wanted to ask this. When this law was made to pay 2,000 shillings, was public participation conducted so that the public approves that they must pay for services they are going to enjoy, so that it translated into pay, doing the same? And if you're going to reverse, are you going back to the public to say, forgive us for not doing what you wanted, allow us to amend so that you continue having it for free? Number two, in the Agriculture Committee, we have been pressing and requesting county governments to have a register of farmers, certified register of farmers, so that when you give subsidy fertilizers or any farm inputs, they must be in the database of the county government. Does the county government of Bungoma have a database of farmers, so that at any click of a button, last year, the other year, Senator Sifuna can key in Wanyonyi, Wepogulu, Naspondi, ID number Flani, then it pops up to say he is from Nakoyonjo, this village, 10 bags, 4 acres. Thank you.
Chair, my concern was, Governor, I can understand why someone would make an argument for all the wards to receive the same amount of fertilizer, but those wards are not the same. Now I'm sitting here thinking about East Sangalo, for instance, or West Sangalo. Why would you give the same number of bags for West Sangalo and East Sangalo, which are basically agricultural counties, and give township ward the same amount of fertilizer?
Chair, in fact, we have had that consideration where we said instead of giving fertilizer to, say, township, they opted for trade loans. But at some point, again, the MCS came up and said, no, we also deserve to get fertilizer. Where we take it is not your problem. So
that is the problem, Governor.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. And we are all here. No, let us not act like we don't live in this country or in a ward. That was the situation. They said, give us the fertilizer. And if an MC says, give me my share of my fertilizer, as a ward, I'm going to plant, they can do whatever.
That is very dangerous because you are the one who's the accounting officer, governor. You cannot accept somebody telling you, don't care or don't bother where I will take the fertilizer. This is what Cherargei was asking.
No,
that,
you know,
if you give some people that fertilizer, it might end up being sold. And yet the program was for free. So if you are telling me, unless they used it to grow the grass at Moi Primary there, I don't think why, I don't understand why you should give the same amount.
No, MCAs know that they will never be held accountable. To them, they are just playing politics. But you know, when the crucifixion will happen, you will only be the one crucified, not them.
Unfortunately, that is the truth. That is what is on the ground. It is true. You know, let's not pretend like we don't know what is going on. That is the truth of the matter. Even if you went to, my senator was asking, if you went for public participation, no farmer will say, sell fertilizer to us. In fact, all of them are saying increase the numbers of those who should get free fertilizer. So that is the reality on the ground. And sometimes even when we make these laws, sometimes we can make them and then circumstances change.
Governor.
Members,
Just a comment, the chair.
I see it's already 3, and yet we have very significant projects in this report. We have established that the law of the county assembly was violated. In mitigation, the governor is saying he has introduced policies, he's intending to make amendments. It does not take away the fact that the county assembly or the county law was violated. I think it is upon us to make a determination and a recommendation, but the governor has explained the realities and the dynamics of that particular matter.
Just to interrupt
the issue of policy on distribution, on need, I think that's a subsidiary issue that we can deal with in the Agriculture Committee, where we sit with Senator Wakoli. Senator Wakoli?
Yeah, just wanted to, the others will discuss with you as agriculture. Just wanted to get an answer if we have a database of farmers in Bungoma.
We do. We actually have a database, and that is what was used to get the fertilizer from the cereals board.
Okay.
The Kiami system, my chair, and you are also the chair of agriculture, the way I am. So the Kiami system has assisted to have all the data of the farmers. So on a click of a button, you can know which farmer is where.
Okay. So this particular matter speaks to public participation. The Finance Act passed by the Assembly. You went to the public and told them that we are going to charge you 2,000 per bag, and then went ahead and enacted it, but then later on reversed it. So the question would be, did the County Assembly really carry out public participation before they came up with this law? I think that's a matter that we will make our recommendations, and then you will have to implement what we recommend. Honourable members, let's move to cattle dips. Governor, sitting in Nairobi looking at cattle dips is not very elegant. This issue of cattle dips, let the County Assembly do the necessary oversight and make appropriate recommendations so that we go to Masinde Muliro Stadium.
Just 30 seconds. Since these cattle dips and the issue of fertilizer, Governor, I saw you cautiously avoided to tell us how many farmers do you have in Bungoma? We know nationally there are about 4 to 6 million.
Since you said you have the database, I think you can just give us the number, then we move to the next.
The number who benefited, I don't know the total number, but I know the ones who benefited from our program.
You said you have a register of farmers.
There was a register of farmers.
There's a register of farmers, but I can't tell honestly. Sure. I can't tell it off head now. I will be lying, and I'm on.
Your CC Agriculture is present?
No, not here.
Because I know the national government was registering farmers, so yes. I would expect there would be a database. Yes. Is it the same database, or you have separate ones?
The same.
It should be the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think members, that is something that can be established. Let's go to Masinde Muliro Stadium. Masinde Muliro Stadium, Auditor, what was your concern?
Thank you, Chair. Construction of Masinde Muliro Stadium. The County Executive awarded a contract for construction of Masinde Muliro Stadium to a local company on 26 April 2019 at a contract sum of Kenya shillings 679,386,376. This was later revised to Kenya shillings 807,464,800. The initial completion date was 14th June 2021, but was revised 4 times, and the last revised completion date was 16th December 2025. Review of the payments records revealed that the company was paid Kenya shillings 39,711,882 as the final payment for certificate numbers 2, 3, 4, 11, 13, and 14, which had been partially paid. However, the current status of the project could not be established as management did not provide the information on site instructions, schedule of outstanding works, and the title deed for the land on which the stadium is built. Audit inspection conducted on 23rd July 2025 revealed that the works had stalled for over an year and the contractor was not on site. The external fence that was built had structural defects. A section of the fence facing the VIP entrance was bending outwards, thereby forming a huge crack on the floor between the fence and the adjacent ground. No explanation was given for this defect. Also, some offices had already moved in and occupied the office block even before completion of the project and had offer for occupation. In the circumstances, value for money was not achieved on this project. Thank you.
Governor, your response?
Through the chair, on the current status of the project, management has provided the project status report dated 17 July 2025.
Sorry, for Hansard purposes, just reintroduce yourself.
Sorry, my name is Carol Makali, CC member for finance.
Okay, proceed.
The management has provided the project status report dated 17 July 2025, and the report includes schedule of outstanding works. The project is 95% complete as per the attached project status report. Management has further provided minutes of the site meeting held on 21st February 2025, and in this meeting, site instructions were given to the contractor who was in attendance. Instructions have been highlighted on page 3 of the attached site minutes under Appendix 19B. On the title deed for the land, the stadium land is registered under the defunct Bungoma County Council as per the attached copy of the land search. No work was ongoing for almost 1 year and the contractor was not on site. The management is saying the contract for this project expired on 16 December 2025. The county government is engaging the national government to complete the remaining works. On the external fence, the wall refer is not bent but a slight curve on alignment to the existing boundary wall. The structural crack is an expansion joint between the columns and therefore not a structural defect. It is worth noting that the existing boundary wall is standalone element and not connected to the ground that is made up of debris deposit. There is no crack between the wall and the ground floor of the fence. On the county having offices already occupied, the contractor partially handed over the project on 23rd April last year after having been issued with a partial certificate of practical completion on 17th April 2025. The county executive has been facing office space constraints with a limited budget for recurrent. I submit, Chair.
You see, this is a problem of, Governor, this is a problem when your team does not respond to the Auditor-General when they're on the ground. The Auditor-General saying there's a crack. Your officer is saying there's no crack. Now, who are we going to believe? Surely, why did this matter, why couldn't this matter be resolved at the exit meeting or management letter meeting, management letter level? How do we now agree that a bend and a curve are two different things?
Yeah, actually, under normal circumstances, we should see the same thing. So let me ask the QS to explain.
No, I think you need to be concerned the way I'm concerned, because if you are not, then we are not on the same page. We didn't need to come to Nairobi to debate whether it is a bend or it is a curve, or it is a crack or not a crack. you know, what amount of explanation will convince us when the auditor says there's a crack? Then now we say there's no crack because the governor says there's no crack.
And Chair, you know what is the most concerning? The people of Bungoma and the country at large, they're expecting a stadium. How is it that it is officers that were given priority? I don't think there's anybody sitting somewhere thinking we need the county officers to reduce the pressure on the county headquarters. We want a stadium. And promises have been made. I remember there was a big fanfare there in Bungoma. I think we hosted one of these national events. The impression created was that we were getting a stadium, Governor. What's going on?
Chair,
Governor?
Sifuna, when were you last to the stadium?
No, I was at home in December. I didn't get to go to the stadium. But I'm just wondering, what are these things
So,
we're reading about?
what I wanted to confirm is that there is a stadium.
Yes.
It's about what percentage? 95%. Okay, and with beautiful offices. So we can't just leave those offices unoccupied.
I thought you were going to say a beautiful pitch.
The pitch is, we had a challenge with the pitch.
That's what I'm saying, Governor. We want a stadium.
That is what
That's
a stadium is for.
You can't say we have a
It's
stadium.
like saying you have a hospital, but the kitchen is very
It's
nice.
very nice.
No. I think let's understand the spirit. We have a pitch which we want to improve. The pitch is LC Leopards played there with the Nzoya, and the canopy has been put. The pavilion has been put. So what we want to do is just to improve on the pitch. But the pitch is a working condition. You can play football there, and the stadium is there. All we're saying that now we also had offices there, which instead of just wasting, they also occupied. But the stadium is there, 95% complete.
Okay, so let's go back to the issues raised by the Auditor-General. You wanted someone to respond?
Yes, the QS.
QS, please be very quick because we had thought we'd be done by 3. Now we are way past 3. Again, just introduce yourself for Hansard purposes.
Thank you, Chair. I'm QS Humphrey Selungi, in charge of Public Works. Yes, as per the management response, I got the information about what the auditor had raised. I went and cross-checked. For instance, we are firm that the ground and the wall are not joined. The ground floor is on its own. That's why we can
QS. You know, you are telling us a story.
Yes.
What was so difficult when you got the management letter, just to go to the ground with the auditor and tell them, auditors, these things you are saying are not true. I am the professional, so that it does not come before us.
I didn't have a chance to meet with them in the exit meeting here.
But whoever was in the exit meeting knew that there was an issue that required a professional to deal with. Governor, those are the gaps. That is why if you have an audit committee, if you are part of that audit process, this matter would not be reported the way it has been reported. I mean, it's a bit frustrating for us at 3 o'clock to be arguing whether there's a crack or not. Can we, members, without getting lost in the trees, just take a global view? You have done 95%. What's a plan to get to 100% and to ensure that you deliver fully for the people of Bungoma?
Chair, maybe can I add a question that was observed by the OAG?
Okay, please make it brief.
This title deed for the land on which the stadium is built, is it a veil so that it becomes easy? Is it a fail? You know, I've been to this stadium before.
Fine. If it's there, just tell us the appendix. Governor?
Yeah, the stadium land is registered under the defunct Bungoma County Council as by the attached copy of the land search.
Which is annex?
Search 19C.
Oh, 19C.
Fine. As you go there, what's a plan to 100%?
Yeah, 100%. The canopy, there was a delay in the terms of supply of material, and that's being done by the national government. And we have also negotiated with the national government to do the pitch for us to good standards. So once that is done, and there's that directive by His Excellency the President, once that is done, we shall be at 100%.
What sort of commitments have been given? By the way, Governor, just understand our frustration.
Yes.
Because for some of us, when we hear stadium, the first thing is the pitch and the canopy, and the seats. So I am not convinced that that is 5%. That is what should come at the tail end.
Honorable Senator, we have had a lot of challenges with the contractor, that local contractor called you now. We've pushed left, right, even to get to where we are has been a big challenge. Even some of these audit, the queries that you are seeing here have been as a result of that particular contractor. But we have pushed until where we are, and that's why we said now for us to be able to conclude, because like you're saying, even as we want a stadium, our focus is the 2027 AFCON. We are also waiting to be part of it. So we want that be done, and that's why the pitch, that's why we have, as the national government, and there's a commitment that they are going to do it for us.
Honorable members, maybe finally, Senator Wakoli.
I want to ask my people, these offices that we are enjoying the ambience, do they have water, sewage facilities to allow our officers to use those facilities?
Governor?
The county secretary and those who are living there are here. They can they can tell us whether there's water or not. The county secretary is the one leading
So
the
that,
ship.
sorry, through the chair, when my people in Bungoma are watching,
yes,
they'll be watching him answer this question so that...
County secretary, direct to the point.
Yeah. Chair, I want to confirm that we have clean water and a sewer system. I am also a beneficiary of that temporary arrangement. So we have the facilities, the way Honorable Senator has asked, we have them. Thank you.
Okay.
Chair, I want him to expound on the temporary arrangement so that we move to the next level. You know I come to that pitch, right? Yes. So I can fly this evening and get you off guard. So please tell us the truth.
Chair, Honorable Senator, you are most welcome to my office and you will enjoy the facility.
Order. Address yourself to the committee, please.
Yeah,
that is a stadium, my friend. That is not your office.
Address yourself to the committee. You'll be safer that way.
Thank you, Chair. What I can say is that we don't intend to have the stadium as offices. It was a temporary measure, as we also make arrangements to have now a few offices that are there to relocate. We had a challenge of paying rent where we were in the old building where we were renting, and therefore, as we also normalize, we should be actually moving out from the stadium. So the stadium remains a stadium. Thank you, Chair.
Through the governor and my chair.
It was to be your final question.
Yes, I'm finalizing.
Question. Yeah.
Which water line are you using to facilitate the use of that stadium?
Koika. I think there's Koika, the line from Koika, Koika 2 is the one that is going. And actually it came when we were doing the preparation of the Madaraka Day. That's when the water, we made sure that the water went up to that place. Number 2 is we are putting up an administration block. Why the county secretary said it's temporary is because that we are putting up an administration block. Once it's completed, then it will be, all officers will move there and then they will leave the officers for the stadium to be occupied by other officers.
Fine. So we have auditors as boots on the ground, and they can confirm whether what the governor is submitting is accurate. We keep this in view, but we'll also, I think the auditor will check whether there's been any violation of the contract, particularly on pricing, whether there's been a variation beyond what has been agreed in the contract. Is there anything like that, auditor?
No, there was no problem with the validation. It was well done.
Okay, so it's just the workmanship and the value for money.
Yes.
Fine, we keep that in view. The High Altitude Training Center, I think directly, Governor, you have spent 30.9 million on a high altitude training center, but it has not been put to use.
There were a few things that had not been completed, but I want to confirm that phase 1 has been completed. It is equipped. The gym is well equipped. The hostel is now coming up, and the phase 2 we are going to do the track. So It's a matter of just launching it, then we'll be able to.
So it is not complete?
It's not complete
as
yet.
Reported by the Auditor-General?
Phase 1 is complete. I don't know whether the auditor was there, whether it saw anything.
Auditor, since it's phased, maybe we can keep it in view?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Fine. Chwele Vocational Training Center. The project had stalled, even though 5 million had been paid. The total contract sum was 30 million. Governor, has this made any progress? The Chwele VTC.
But give them, let me see, Chwele.
This should have been completed in 2020, 14th October 2020, when we were with you here in the Senate.
Yeah, maybe let me give the CSC education also to.
But 5 million was paid during the year under review. So, CC, again, reintroduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Engineer Agnes Wachia, CC Education and Vocational Training. I have been in the department for 1 year. When I came in, that was a low-hanging fruit that I thought I would pick, we finish, and then so that it is utilized by the students. But that was not the case because the contract had already elapsed. That was the contract was between May 2020 and October 2020. And so when that happened, I went straight to look at the BQ, that is a measurement sheet, which I established that the contract sum was 30 million. We had the works done had already consumed 26 million. So that informed the payment of that pending bill of 5 million. What we have done is that we terminated the contract, and we have plans, looking at the works that have remained, we have plans to retender and so that we can get somebody else to complete the works. Thank you.
You have said exactly what the auditor has said. We thought you were going to tell us what your plan is to ensure there's value for money here.
That is what I said, Honorable Senator, is that it was terminated because the contract also
Yes,
expired.
that's what the auditor said in his report.
And so what
so what we want to hear from you is that this is our solution to ensure that Chwele VTC can be used for its intended purpose. Because you seem to be having, and I think County Attorney need to be concerned, because these contracts that get terminated in between, I hope that the County Attorney gets involved in those terminations, because otherwise you're going to have bigger problems. So could you reframe what the solution is?
Chair, also
because you have described the problem.
Can she just clear some confusion that I have? Are you saying the contract price was 30 million? You said they had received 26, you added them 5.
I said that the works that had been done had consumed 26 million.
So what percentage of work should that be if there was only 4 million remaining?
It was 90%.
Sorry?
That should be 90%.
Yes, what has been executed is that I may not get the measure, maybe the technical person can speak about that. But what we are doing is to identify money and so that we can complete
just a minute. So you added them 5 million, you paid them a total of 31 million?
Not 31 million. We have paid them about 20 million. But what has been executed is 26 million.
Out of the 30 million?
Yes.
So that's roughly 90%. That's roughly 90%.
Yes.
Is that the actual project status?
The QS can confirm that.
So we expect that when you get a new contractor, we should be spending not more than 4 million shillings to complete.
Yes, from what I've seen on the ground. But the QS
So do you have a budget for it?
We are still trying to identify a budget for it in the 26-27 budgetary allocation.
26-27? I thought that's done.
In the coming financial year, not this one. We do not have a budget for it in this 25-26. We do not have a budget for it.
So you are saying this project will remain unutilized, incomplete, until the 27-28 financial year?
We are actually utilizing it, but it is incomplete. Once it is completed, we shall fully utilize it.
Governor, You just need 4 or 5 million to bring this to life. I mean, that's not a lot of money. It's the money you spend on Christmas tree lighting.
I'm happy that my MCA representation are here, because these are some of the things we put in the budget. Then when they go, they remove. So I hope that they can see that this is urgent and important that we are able to complete. Yes, Chair.
Any comments on this, honourable members?
Governor, just to advise you that the Senate had passed a motion last year to advise counties not to begin any new projects before you complete this. We understand the pressure that you might get from the MCS to begin new projects, for obvious reasons. But I think this one is very unfair, that you have almost gotten to the end of the contract itself, the construction itself. There is absolutely no reason why you can't get that 4 million shillings to complete the vocational training center before you begin any other projects.
I agree with you, Senator Sifuna, that that should be the position, because starting any new projects now may not see the light of day before we get into elections.
Okay, I think we will keep this in view, but emphasize that it needs to be prioritized. We know the impact a VTC has in an area. It really stimulates the economy. So I would expect the MCA for Chwele to be, or representing that area, to be ambassador in the assembly when it comes to budgetary allocations. Let's move to completion of governor's residence and deputy governor's residence. A long narration there. First of all, Auditor-General, can you confirm that the budget for these residences are in line with the resolutions of the Senate?
Yes, they are.
For the governor's residence, we had capped it at 40 million.
40 million.
And for the deputy, we had capped it at
35 million.
35 million.
Yes.
So they're within the budget.
Yes.
So the problem here is that they have taken long to
complete. Yes.
For the governor's residence, it started on 14th of August, 2023.
Yes.
So, Governor, this is your project. It's your project.
Yes, it's my project. We've had a bit of challenge with the contractor. I think he got too many contracts. Therefore, his performance has been pushing him, but at least there's something going on now.
What percentage? Oh, it's indicating 55%. Is that the percentage even as you speak?
Yes, that's the percentage.
Nothing has moved
60?
since
No,
December.
60, sorry.
So the contractor is back on site?
It's back on site, yes.
Is that the same case for the deputy governor's residence?
Yes.
The contractor is back on site?
Yes.
Honorable members, unless there's an issue, we can keep this in view, considering that it's going on, and at least they're within the ceilings that we had prescribed. We went to a county where they had spent 200 million on the foundation for a governor's residence. So at least we don't need to dramatize this. The CAIP, County Aggregation and Industrial Park. Is this also work in progress?
Work in progress. The contractor has also been a bit slow, but we've really pushed him. We're hoping, we gave him some milestones. We're hoping that he can be able to deliver.
The auditor queried the title deed for the land. Was that provided, auditor?
No, it is still in the name of the Sangalo Technical Institute.
Governor, what's your take on that?
It's also work in progress. You know, it was hived from Sangalo Institute, so we're in the process of getting the CAIP to get its own title. So it's work in progress.
Honorable members?
Chair, I must disclose that this industrial park is right outside my rural home. And it was launched with enough fanfare. In fact, my mother was telling me that she could hear the statements and pronouncements being made there because the speakers were made to face into her home for political reasons. But I was there.
Sifuna should have better if she attended.
Just a minute.
Yeah. In future, encourage her to attend.
Chair, I can confirm that this one I saw with my own eyes in December. There was no contractor going on. I think the only things I saw there were toilets. And somebody will tell us that is phase one. How can phase one of a county aggregation park be toilets?
Maybe so that I don't look biased, let me give my officer, the QS, who is the project manager, to tell you the current position and what is happening.
Unless you have built something in January when I left. But when I was there was nothing, Chair.
Yeah, QS, first of all, is the contractor back on site?
Yes, I wish to confirm, Chair.
Work is going on as we speak.
It's going on.
What has been achieved so far?
He has finished all the main builder's works. Now he's on the roof fabricating the steel roof works. He has brought in the design for approval. We are giving him within this week for the final.
You'd put it at what percentage?
Right now he's at 60%.
At 60%?
Yes, Chair.
Chair, I want to
Senator
ask,
Wakoli?
why is the contractor slow? Because that is what the public feels, comparing ourselves to Kakamega and other counties, to Uasin. Why is the contractor slow?
Chair, I imagine it was a bit of capacity challenges, but the way he has picked up now, I'm expecting the next 3 months to be out.
The way he has picked up now?
Yes.
So you picked a contractor that did not have a capacity?
We follow the documentation, and we do also the
but that goes back to due diligence, Chair.
Chair, let me help my QS. That's a big challenge that we're having in the counties, where you get contractors, documentation is perfect. They even give you financial statements that show that they have money. Just the way our people do when you want to go to the US, you go and get a bank statement from somebody, produce it, then you don't, then immediately you go.
Chair, please, Governor, through the chair, you know the Americans are watching. You want our people not to be going to America. Because unatoboa sira ya Wakenya, which is dangerous. Yeah, nyumba. Can you use a better example, Chair? And you know, Senator Sifuna is a friend of the Americans nowadays. So, anatoboa sira.
Or if you want to go to Uganda. What the point I was making is that we have a lot of challenges where the contractors are not presenting the correct position. Because you realize, and my roads engineer is here, somebody presents very good documentation, but unless he's paid, he can't move. Unless you pay him, he just waits. So we must look for another way of identifying the real capacity of the contractors. Because this contractor came, the document looked well, and it looked like he can perform. But then he has had a lot of challenges, and that's why we are where we are. We would be where Kirinyaga is, where Migori is, where Embu is. Thank you.
Since almost every county has an issue under KIPES, or every county that has appeared before us, maybe we might, as a committee, call for some special audit on KIPES across the country, because it's not yet time for a performance audit. They've not started functioning. So we can keep this in view because they have confirmed that the contractor is on site, and so Senator Chiradi?
Maybe, Governor, there are some of your colleagues who have appeared here and they sometimes feel that KIPES is not necessary. What will be the value addition to the business and farmers and the people through the chair and the people of Bungoma? Is this necessary? Will it do some change around? Because some of your colleagues are arguing that they were never consulted. The designs were poorly done, like in Makueni and other areas. Maybe just, Chair, in 30 seconds, you can tell us whether this aggregation park is a necessity in Bungoma and whether there will be value addition on which type of goods that these KIPES will provide to the people.
I think we did agree in COG that they were necessary in all the places, and governors, most governors were launching them. So when you turn around and say now it doesn't add value, I think it's double speak. But I think for Bungoma, we are going to have value addition. Let's look at what informed the whole concept of the KIPES, value addition, aggregation. I know where Senator Sifuna's side comes from there. The bananas that your mom is growing and the neighbors would be aggregated in Sangalo, and also ones from Mount Elgon and all that. So instead of Kungangana Sana, we have warehouses that are going to be there, coolers that are going to be there. So it's going to add value, in my opinion. Thank you.
Chair, through you.
Senator?
As you come from Bungoma to Ebuye, there is a facility that was constructed by the local government at that time, purported to be a horticultural cooling stuff. When you pass there, the place is like a defunct ruin. Even the women who don't have where to put their goods can never step there. And yet it's a well-built facility. That shows us that unless we are careful and determined to do value addition, those coolers in Sangalo might never be seen by anyone and might degenerate faster than the ones on the highway to Nairobi. So I hope and pray, my governor, that we motivate our farmers to make use of those facilities. Otherwise, that structure on the way at Matisi is a key study of big projects that can be shameful to the sight of the taxpayer. Thank you.
I agree with you.
Governor, I don't know what assurance you can give the people of Bungoma who feel that there's usually not adequate consultation, especially public participation, when we're doing these projects. There are people who fear that in the next few years, that Sangalo National Polytechnic or Bungoma National Polytechnic might lose all its land to these government projects that don't involve the community. I don't know what assurance you can give them as the governor of Bungoma.
Governor? Yeah, we will ensure that we have public participation going forward, so long as it's a proper public participation. Because I remember when I was a speaker here, we had that bill. I don't know that went through the public participation bill, because again, my experience has been, everybody hires their own supporters to come and cheer or jeer, depending on what you are prosecuting. Then it ends up not even being a public participation exercise. But we'll consult with all the stakeholders to ensure that whatever we are bringing, it's part, they own it. Otherwise, if they don't own it, again, it can end up being an elephant. I don't know which color, but it can be an elephant. Thank you, Chair.
How much land did Sangalo cede for the KIPES?
Sasita. How much was Sasita? It was mine. Huh?
Because if you followed the recent...
It was around 30 acres.
Around 30 acres.
Yeah, I wanted to
if you follow the contemporary conversations, the former Vice-Chancellor of Kenyatta University addresses himself to such issues where institutional land is being hived off on executive orders. So we need to be careful about that. So we keep these KIPES view and move to the next issue. Of course, we'll make more specific recommendations. The next issue is the Sangalo Junction to dual carriage. There's a very detailed finding there by the Auditor-General. There's an even more detailed response from the county, which is how many pages, Governor? 3 pages. So, taking note of the written responses, Auditor-General, your query was value for money. Was there any finding here that implied loss of funds?
Honorable Chair, no.
So when you say that, bill, for example, under bill number 16, some bitumen, etc. had not been done. If it had not been done, had it been invoiced?
No.
When you say that concrete works, including a footbridge costing 50 million, had not been done, had it been invoiced?
No.
So all the issues you have raised there, Bill 16, 17, 20, 26, street lighting, was done by another state agency?
Yes.
Did the county also pay?
No.
For street lighting?
No.
So in your observations, you are just raising variations in the BQs?
Which ought to have been done. For that 24.2 million, the BQ has not been revised to remove that item.
What's the process of revising the BQ?
They need to be subjected to evaluation committee.
Governor, was that done?
Roads?
Thank you. Through the chair, we did not revise the BQ because the contract already lapsed. The contract lapsed in 2022, and the street lights done by the national government was done in 2024.
If you are supposed to do a bridge at 50 million and it wasn't done, are you just going to say, fine, it wasn't done, so there's no need to revise anything?
Chair, in our initial variation, the footbridge was removed from the contract.
Yes, I think that's a process that we are talking about.
Yes.
So,
we did an evaluation and the variation committee was there and the footbridge was removed.
So why didn't you explain that to the auditor? Because the auditor says you should have done that. You didn't demonstrate that you did it when you came for the audit.
Unless he was not supplied with the variation contract.
Auditor-General, am I asking what you asked or I'm asking for new information?
Yes, we are doing the same. We did the same ourselves and that was not explained.
It was not explained?
Yes.
So we take, for instance, the 50 million bridge. You see, the public will conclude that the governor ate the bridge.
I was going to ask if the county government now says a footbridge at Chebukube is not necessary. Is that what you're saying?
No, Chair. When the contract was being varied, there are quantities that were removed. One of them was a footbridge.
That's not the question. Do the people of Bungoma, because Chair, there's a very busy market that's on the road there, do the people of Chebukube there still need a footbridge on that road?
Yes, they need a footbridge, and in our submission and handover of the road to Kenya, those are the part of the quantities or scope of work that we told them to do.
Through the chair, I want to ask, and I don't know if this works. You know, there people are back on that road, and the public does not even understand who is working. When did this agreement, or when did Kenya take over this facility? When a contractor had not done what we agreed that he should do, and looking at the millions, 1.something billion given to them, they have not done what we had expected them to do. Is it in order? We have no, even the street lights, as you say, they are concrete posts funded by the national government during Madaraka, consuming a lot of our taxpayers' money. There is no cabro around that road for people to walk. The drainage is pathetic. There are no rails. My friend, how can we allow such people to go scot-free and just hand over a 6-point-something kilometer to national government?
Governor?
And who are these evaluation committee? We need to know them. Under whose instructions are they following to change that thing?
Probably, Chair, that's put it in context. When we inherited that road, when we came in, we found a huge pending bill. Most of the works that were done had not been paid. So what we did is to first of all pay for the works done before we then give them instructions to do work that they are ought to do. For example, they had not done the second layer, but we had not even paid for the first layer. We cannot tell them to do a footbridge, and we have not even paid for the first layer. Because when they do work, we measure, then pay. Do work, we measure, then pay. So most of the works, even right now, certificate number 8, 9, and 10 has not been paid.
Through the chair, last year, that road had manholes protruding on the road.
Manholes or potholes?
Manholes, and at some point, potholes. So there was a collab between manholes and potholes. And at some point, those manholes were flattened, and people started marking that road. The public rose up against it and asked, why are you marking the road, and yet part of the work has not been done? That exercise stopped. Today, they are now recarpeting with a thin layer of what we call kokoto. Looking at the sides, no drainage. On the side of West Kenya, Mteremuko, down West Kenya, that water is bringing down people's houses. We cannot allow the contractor to go scot-free. If it's a Chinese, Honorable Chair, the Chinese fella must be brought to be seen in public so that people know this is the Chinese person who is taking off with our money. Thank you, Chair.
So
Chair, for the record, when you say the Chinese was pointing at me, I'm not the Chinese, right?
No.
By the way, Chair,
don't suspect yourself.
You know, in the elections of 2022, I might not have followed the conversation in Bungoma because I was also looking for my own seat. But I remember this dual carriageway being a very hot button issue. I don't know if the governor can jog our memory about what he said he would do and whether he has done what he promised on this dual carriageway.
Governor?
What I promised was to hand over that road to Kenya, which we have done. From the initial...
Senator Sifuna, no. You seem to know much more than the governor is.
That's what I promised to do. That first of all, that was not our road. The road belonged to Kenya. For the county government to have put money, I mean, to have budgeted for about 1.9, that can do several roads. And that's what I used to say. That was wrong to have put that kind of money on a 6 kilometer road from Nani, Musikoma to Kandui. And I said it was wrong. And I said, I'll hand over to Kenya, which I have done. It has had a lot of issues. Even the workmanship was poor and the designs were wrong. In fact, my two senators know. To turn, you have to go all the way to see where before you turn. But now we could not just abandon it the way it was. We have handed over to the right people to complete it, and that's what I promised. Although it has all those challenges, Honorable Senator. Thank you.
It's what class of road is it? Is it a C or a B class?
Class C.
It's a class C,
yeah.
Which should be a national government road.
Yes, it is.
Now, Senator Wakoli, it is our power. We have it in our power to compel anybody who needs to appear before us or who needs to be seen in public. We have that power. So without sounding like we are profiling Chinese contractors, I don't think that should go on record. Whoever it is, whether it's a local contractor or an international contractor, if at our point of report writing, we feel like there were significant irregularities, we have the power to summon anybody, because this is a lot of money. It is 1.6. No, how much is it? 1.5 billion, 1.57 billion. That's a lot of money for a county government. So I agree with you that whoever needs to be summoned, we can summon.
Chair, I think, Governor, and you were with us during the turbulent times of NMS and transfer of functions. I remember, Chair, when you chaired us in last session, you remember Narok County government did boarding facilities. That is a preserve of national government. Is there any documentation that was written between the county government of Bungoma and Kenya National Highway Authority that they should do that road?
There was documentation.
There was documentation?
Yeah.
So, Chair, maybe we look at that, but there is no value for money because doing 6 kilometers at 1.5 billion, and was it approved by Kenya for the county government to do it?
It was approved.
Okay.
Fine.
As you finish, Chair.
Yes, Senator. Finally.
As you can clearly see, and I wish the El Nino rains come so that you can take a chop and visit that dual carriage. When it rains, it becomes a waterway. If you are brief in height and not stable enough, the water can sweep you down the drain.
But everybody eats ugali there.
No, ugali is not as factor here. We are talking about quality, the quality of work. We are talking about the storm and rainwater. I wish you people, through the chair, take a visit when it is raining in Bungoma. This is a scam. These people have looted Bungoma, and I pray, Governor, that before this national government takes this road,
maybe
let those people account for the 1.2 or 3 billion, so that you also wash your hands like Pilato and allow these people to be either crucified or let free because of what they have done.
Remember, we have the power as Parliament to recommend the debarment of a contractor, so that if it's workmanship arising from the capacity or negligence of a contractor, then we can put a stop to it. So again, we have the power. Governor.
Chair, I don't want to contradict what my senator said. He seems very angry. But before casting aspersions and making judgment against maybe any contractor, like you have said, you have powers, why don't we maybe constitute some investigation to find out, because we also want value for money, want to know how much has been spent, and whether there's value for money on that particular road without making this value judgment at this point in time. Through you, Chair.
Senator Dulo, you wanted to make a comment? Senator Sifuna?
You know, Chair, there was a recent conversation in the national space about how counties have utilized the money that we send to them, especially in northern Kenya. If you ask me, as somebody whose rural home is in Bungoma, did the town need that dual carriageway? Yes. Was it necessary, or was it required that the county government take up that responsibility? I think it's no. Because if you look at what the national government has done in other towns, what it has done in other towns, including our neighbors in Kakamega, that dual carriageway through Kakamega town was done as part of the road from Kisumu to Webuye. And it has actually added value. So as county government, sometimes you get yourself in a situation where you are forced to do some of these things. I remember the example that we gave of Mandera County, where they didn't have a TTC, there were no teachers there, they didn't have a KMTC. So they have to build these things themselves. The first kilometer of tarmac in Mandera town, ever since this country was founded, was built by devolution. So sometimes there is a fine line, Chairman. And one of the things that we want to do, especially in the new dispensation, Governor, from 2027, is we want also, the way they list the amount of money that goes to each county through devolution, we want to see how much money the national government spends in Bungoma as well. Because they have the chunk of the money, and you find that these resources are sent to other places inequitably. Our friends in the north are celebrating their first ever road. Why is it being just done now? That's a question we need to ask.
Chair.
Senator, Governor?
I also just wanted, now that, when we talk, we are on record. You asked the auditor a question, and he's responded by saying, so far there's no loss of money. My senator said there is loss of money. So what is the ruling?
But I think, Chair,
you know, there's a gap which you have not agreed on.
Chair, the governor is setting a trap for you.
Your officer,
you need to be careful.
Your officer says that there were evaluation committees constituted. The Auditor-General says that they did not see that evidence.
Yes.
So until and unless we see that evidence, we cannot make a definite conclusion on the matter.
But Chair, you asked a direct question to the auditor, and he answered. That's what I was saying now, it throws us into confusion, because my senator said a lot of money has been looted.
Yes.
And it's on record. The auditor, who is qualified, the most qualified person to address matters of impropriety in any institution, says there's no money that was lost. So
Auditor, did you see the evaluation committee proceedings as you had requested for those variations?
We did not, and in addition to that, Honorable Chair, we have listed so many defects in that project. Definitely, there is no value for money for that 1.3 million.
Yeah, so Governor, I don't think it's an issue of black or white in this, because there's some spectrum in between, which can only be dealt with if we get the documentation that the auditor is talking about. Senator,
would a ruling that the auditor just keep the matter in view, would that satisfy everyone?
I don't know whether it will satisfy Senator Wakoli's
the auditor said,
which has been made worse by the fact that he has missed lunch.
He has said there is no value for money.
Yes.
And number two, what my governor is saying, when you loot silently, using the rule of law, does not make you innocent. We have to catch up with you. That is why when we see the road drainage is bad, all the entry points of the roads to town, the water is digging and spoiling the same road. If the traffic lights are concrete posts with the cable of Kenya Power running, then it simply tells you, with no pavement for pedestrians to walk on a dual carriage, we have planted palm trees on the sides of the dual carriage without proper drainage. What are we saying? There are standards. So where I sit, I have every right to represent the people of Bungoma and say, with the billions pumped there, we need a third eye.
That's important. Senator Dulo?
Chair, I would advise Senator Wakoli if you can bring a statement on the floor of the House when we open, then we summon actually the CS and also the technical people to give us evidence as far as documentation is concerned. And they can also send maybe inspectors to go and look at that particular road so that Bungoma people can be satisfied.
Chair, I also want to agree. My Honorable Senator raised actually a statement on the floor of the House in transport, and we came and responded. The county came and responded to it that time. ESCC are also seized of the matter. So why don't we allow those institutions that are mandated to carry out investigations, to carry out the investigation and give us a proper report? Even me as a governor of Bungoma, I would not want to see money lost or a project that does not add value to the people of Bungoma and where money cannot be accounted for.
Fine. So we'll have to tie our recommendations to the deliberations of the committee on roads, so that we are not.
Yes, we never finished.
We are not coming up with conflicting conclusions.
Yes, we never finished the work because we changed the chairpersons. And number two, the arms of government that we have today must be called to order, because we are having governors in perpetuity. We can't have Mheshimiwa Ken Lusaka, first governor. When the second one comes, signs a funny deal like this, he goes scot-free. He's coming here, he's trying to account for what he never signed. We cannot allow this to happen, and yet ESCC is cognizant of this thing.
So let's
suggesting to the Syria senator to demand for forensic audit with a view of prosecution. I think that is what should be done.
No, it's not even for the area senator to do so. It is us as a committee to make a recommendation to the House, directing a forensic audit, directing a special audit, directing any kind of audit that we deem fit. But for us to deal with what is before us, Governor, the proceedings of the evaluation committee that said we don't need a bridge, we don't need street lights, we don't need 50 millimeters of bitumen, can those be provided to the Auditor-General? Because I've seen cases where evaluation committees have been taken to court.
Yeah.
So can we get details?
We shall provide.
So that we know who sat in those evaluation committees that decided we don't need a footbridge at 50 million. And so let's first look at the documentation, confirm that everything was done lawfully, and then go to the next level, whether everything was done effectively. That is a value for money question. So members, when you're writing our recommendations to the House, let's apply our minds to this so that we give actionable recommendations.
Chair, I'm impressed by the spirit of Senator Wakoli, but there's something I said that must also, in the interest of fairness, and I said a good thing, that governors and county governments exist in perpetuity. That you don't have silos, you don't have silos. On the other side of his mouth, he said, we were prosecuting the roads matter from Bungoma, but because there was a change of chairman, then that matter seems to have been forgotten. So you're saying, if there is going to be an efficient and smooth transition in the county governments, let that transition be smooth and efficient in all arms of government.
Okay, so can we leave the matter there? Rehabilitation of Sio Mayanja, Silila, and Nandigwa rivers. We had looked at this earlier. We feel that this is a matter that you can allow the county assembly to look at, because you are saying you spent 5.9 million on trees, and then the seedlings did not survive. I don't know what decision we should make in Nairobi, because from that alone we would suspect foul play. But I'm sure that these seedlings were planted in wards represented by these members. They could be in a better position to establish. Unless, members, you think that we want to go and visit the river to see the trees and seedlings. Governor, you remember the story of one of your colleagues who put fingerlings in the river? Then they swam to the next county.
Yes.
Is this a similar case?
But I don't think it's similar. But it's maybe, like you have rightly said, the members of the county assembly are on the ground. The committee can find out exactly what happened. It's also possible you can plant seedlings and they fail. It's also true. It can happen, but let's establish the truth.
Okay, County Public Service Board officers, we have demonstrated that your County Public Service Board is not doing a great job. You're putting up an office for them. Is this work in progress?
Yes, that is work in progress.
What percentage so far?
Silongi? What percentage? Is that? 37%. Oh, sorry.
Is contract on site?
That's is the contract on site? It's not on site.
When did it stall? Or as reported by the Auditor-General?
Yes, through the chair. The contractor is not on site. It's told about 6 months ago. And the challenge has been a formalization of the contract. But the recommendation has been that they terminate and just retender.
A lot of contract issues. It's an indictment on your procurement procedures.
Yeah, the matter, of course, the recommendation had been given to the CEO of the board, and I think he's taken a bit too long.
Anyway, you said your board was put in place 2 weeks ago.
A month ago.
1 month ago.
Yes.
We keep this in view. ECD classrooms and two-door pit latrines. This is what I was saying at the beginning, that escalating issues of pit latrines to the Senate is a misuse of the powers and time of the Senate. But the issues are before us. Maybe just to tie it all up, Senator Wakoli, you had indicated that you had done some oversight on ECD centers.
There's even a report.
No, this is just my notes. The report will come after a short while.
Maybe you can give us a background, and then it can help us resolve.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think the matter that has been cited of Luya Bwake ward, I was on the ground in that ward. The contractor, in perspective, was given 4 classes. He deliberately abandoned the 4 classes, and it's nowhere to be seen. In Luya Primary School, only stones were there and nothing else. The other school, he had built one side of the wall, and the connection between the wall he created was with another old wall and left it at the lintel. You can also cite other various institutions that have poorly been handled. It is in public notice in Bungoma. I was in Mrefu Primary School, where the workmanship was poor. The class, I think, was built 2019. The floor is not there. There are no chairs. There are no tables. And the matter is all over. There is another institution called and many others. I don't want to be devil because my good governor knows. There are many unfinished classes for ECD in Bungoma. In Sibakala Vocational Center as well, because this is a ministerial matter. So this is just a tip of the iceberg. And what we are asking the county government of Bungoma is those contractors that have been given ECD classes to construct, they ought to do a good job. Do a proper class, a proper flow, do proper power connectivity, do a toilet for those children, and now that we are giving porridge, do a kitchen. These places are not safe for our children. And this is a key example of many other areas. I will be tabling a report at the Senate and also with my governor, so that proper work is done. And those contractors that have not done a good job, they must be called to order and apprehended. Those ones who received money and they have not worked, the same must be done. Those people who have approved payment for projects that have been done badly, they must also be called to order, because it seems it is a systemic problem, both from the contractor side and people in government who are working under you. So I want to request, as you share with us, you also shed light and give our people hope that we will not continue having this. There are also schools. Some have got chairs and some have not got chairs. When you look at your report of work done, some places you say delivered, chairs delivered everywhere, or teaching aids delivered everywhere. But when you go to the ground, it is not everywhere. And these are matters that the public is listening and watching you speak, or your people speak. And they put us to answer these questions. Are we doing our oversight properly, or we are simply chair members in the entire process? So this is just a tip of the iceberg that has propped up here, that we need to escalate and call to order this particular
Thank you. The good thing is that the Senate Education Committee is running an inquiry on ECD centers across the country. And I think they will do a much more detailed analysis on some of these things. But it should worry you that ECD classes are coming up in a financial audit report. Yes, Senator?
I have attended this ECD by Education Committee, but they look more into school feeding program and curriculum. They don't look to the aspects of construction of and quality works of what, there are people who call it ECD classroom, others call it ECD center, where you're having the classroom, the teaching staff room, the ablution block or toilets, and also maybe the sleeping area for the young kids. So, Chair, I think on the issue of viability of construction, we must look at the committee because they are more focused on school.
Okay, thank you. I think a few broad issues, actually, yes.
There are even projects that you have done, several years they have not been opened, like your classes in Bungoma DB. 2 years down the line, there are padlocks on the doors. The other children are piled in one class or two by the public ECD teachers. So it means that when we construct classes, they must be opened, pupils must occupy with the right tools and equipment, with the right teachers who are paid properly on time, and the rest. I think the others I'll pursue the committee.
Okay. Now, Governor, let's come back to the report. I just wanted the Senator to lay the background. He'll pursue some of these things through the Education Committee, but we'll pick the ones that we can run with. Why are we having these things of pit latrines appearing in your audit report and getting escalated to the Senate? What are you doing to ensure that these things do not recur?
Let me say this. Continuity is very important. During my first term as the governor of Bungoma, we had a standardized model of ECD classrooms. And those who want to be genuine can bear witness. If you go, you'll find that we had ECD classrooms with blue iron sheets. And you can easily tell from any school that this is an ECD classroom built by the county government of Bungoma. When my successor came, he changed the approach and put more money on functions that were not county functions, on scholarships and bursaries, and therefore abandoned most of these ECD constructions and vocational training. When we came back, we found that a lot of those contracts had also been given out, and contractors have not been paid, and therefore that's why some of them they will go and put padlocks and say we must be paid before we hand over the classrooms. So what we are doing now is to get back, and my focus has been that let us get back to what is our what's in our schedule for what does it say we do, and that's why when I initiated that, there was a bit of resistance, there was a bit of was thrown here and there, so that we reduce now. In fact, what the control of budget did say that about scholarships and bursaries, that let us focus on what is ours, so that we build standard ECD classrooms, we equip them, and also give materials to be supported there. I want to maybe thank my my senator for the oversight, but I also want to ask him that when you get that kind of report, the forums that you also address, so that it doesn't appear like maybe it's infighting, you can raise it with me without maybe raising it in a funeral or in a forum that is not very pardon? So that then, I'm not forced to also respond. Because now the way you have done it, the way the report that you're having, that's very, very important, because it will come, then we respond in a manner that we want to respond. Then we see how we get our way forward. But I must admit that there has been a bit of breakdown in terms of the standards of the classroom, the ACT classrooms that we have been putting up. And just like you have rightly observed, I also do not expect that things like latrines and whatever will get here, but you have already given a way forward on what should be done, the effectiveness of the audit committees at the county level, so that these things are not escalated to the Senate.
Okay, so I want us to come to
Chair, just
honorable members.
An observation, just 30 seconds observation. You remember, Governor, in Wazingishu, there were children that were using pit latrine, and unfortunately they fell into. In as much as these two door pit latrines and other that has been raised in question number 22 and 23 has been escalated, why don't you change the design of the latrines? Because these are young ones, you can imagine, Chair, and there were casualties in Turbo constituency over having pit latrine in a preschool. So why don't you change, now that you are saying the former governor diverted money to some other programs, why don't you change the design so that we protect our children?
Point made, Senator Wakoli.
Thank you very much. First, I want to correct my good governor that when I've been raising these matters, I've not attended a funeral. So my good Lord knows that I've not articulated issues of the children in the funeral. Number two, when we stand in public to celebrate achievements, the same public will want us as oversights to talk about challenges in public. Key in study, Honorable Chair, I attended the oversight meeting in Brangasi, Vocational Training Center, and in that meeting unannounced, about 1,500 people came, and they were arguing about capitation. They were talking about tools. They're even blaming your principal for eating money. I had to give him an opportunity to defend himself because they wanted him to leave. And they were raising matters of money, that in 2016 they got capitation, 2023 they got capitation, and then 2026 they got capitation. So they were asking the teachers that are cheating on board, after that 2016, they staffed up to 2013, up to 2023. Then from 2023, that's when they got money in 2026. So as a leader, I have to listen to their concerns and definitely raise the matter to those concerned. And therefore, it cuts across the county, and you know, your minister is here. The monies for capitation was sent the other day to our institutions. So you look at the money versus the need of the institution, then the principals are left not knowing what to do with the little resources. So it is not in bad faith that we talk about this. It is how we take it and how we turn it to make it useful to the person at the grassroots level, and even make your legacy project a success. So I call upon the people you work with, my good governor, to be telling you the truth on time, so that people don't start harassing your teachers at the grassroots level, that after 2023, they have never been paid. Where is our money?
Okay,
and my good ministers,
Senator,
as I finish, Chair, I think my good MCS, kindly assist us to ensure that the money is going to vocational training centers flows consistently, so that those young people who cannot go to Sangalo National Polytechnic or Ukisiwa can have a lifeline to be trained for free through capitation by the county government. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Now, we will finalize by just, again, addressing where the problem lies. The last finding there by the Auditor-General is failure to take action on issues raised by the internal and external auditor by the management. Feedback is a very powerful mechanism, Governor. You are an expert in public administration, but you know that feedback, they say, is a breakfast for champions. So whatever your senator is saying, that is feedback. It should be taken positively. And Senator, you don't need to apologize for speaking about these things, because as a leader, you can, whatever forum you have, you can address it. So I don't want you to be apologetic. But the formal feedback, there was an internal auditor in this delegation. Where is the internal auditor? Because this is where the problem lies. If if what the internal auditor recommends is not taken into account, then we end up with 38 issues, which take us almost 5 hours in Nairobi. Internal auditor, could you let us know whether your audit charter has been approved?
Yes, Chair, my internal audit charter is approved.
When did your audit committee last sit to look at your report?
They sat in November last year, 2025.
In November last year?
Yes.
Since the Auditor-General laid their reports, as the audit committee sat just to take note of the external audit report?
They've not sat. Is one I've given them a notice to sit next week.
What should be the ideal situation? But now that the Auditor-General has laid their report, you know the governor is coming to the Senate. Shouldn't you cause a meeting to happen before?
Yeah, we should have called the meeting, but there was a delay because of some of the audit committee, they don't reside in Bungoma, and calling them without finances, sometimes it's a problem to them to come and attend the meetings.
So, Governor, if you make that work, if you make that process work, you wouldn't sit in the Senate for 5 hours, because you have seen half of the things here are things that could have been resolved if there was keenness on the part of your team, and if the recommendations of the internal auditors and external auditors were implemented. We hope that if you put in place the right mechanisms, your next report will be dealing more with policy issues rather than pit latrines and seedlings that have been washed away by the rivers. We have not been able to go into details on the receipt of revenue statement, but we take note that you have made a detailed response in writing. We will analyze that response. Earlier on, we saw that you had some slight growth in on-source revenue, even though 960 million of your revenue is coming from hospitals. That is not healthy, because if you take away the hospital fees, assuming we implement FIF properly, then you'll have very little money. You'll have very little revenue. So we'll analyze your written responses and make recommendations, which then will invite you again in about 60 or 90 days to follow up on how far you have implemented those recommendations. But it should worry you that 960 million of your revenue, is it 960? Chief Officer, 960 million?
Yes, Chair.
Out of a total of? 1.4?
1.2.
No, it can't be 1.2.
It's the OSR is 671. Then the other one is 960.
It should worry you, Governor, if more than half of your revenue is coming from hospitals, because your total receipt was 1.4 billion. Out of which 960 billion came from hospitals. So only 400 million came from productive activities. We have asked the Parliamentary Budget Office to do an analysis, stream by stream, because since you moved to accrual, we didn't get comparative figures. So we'll do a stream by stream analysis and point out the streams where there could be a fall in revenue collection. Now, unless there is any other observation, Senator Wakoli.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question to ask our good lady who is in charge of audit. You have boldly said that many of your members don't come from Bungoma, and also logistics, fare, and all that. What does that say? I thought the county government facilitates you to work. So why is it that you can, before your boss and Kenyan, say what you have said?
Internal Auditor?
Thank you, Chair. I've not said that they are not facilitated, but for this period, there was that issue of 50% that the budget has not been uploaded, and so the county could not access any money for them. Then our chair comes from Nairobi, other members come from Mombasa. So you see, you cannot call them when there is no facilitation for them. to come and attend the meetings. But I've called the meeting. They'll be coming next week to deliberate on the issues that are on the table.
So, Chair, as Senator Bungoma, I think I should recommend that we need people who are accessible, people who can sacrifice, so that my county get results and value for money.
I think it was the first question we put to the governor when we asked him whether the audit committee was useful. And Governor, you can clearly see that the institutions that are supposed to help you are not helping you. Ideally, your audit committee ought to have convened before you came here, because they ought to have convened to look at the report of the Auditor-General, make recommendations, and even help your team in addressing them. So if it's going to meet after this session, then it will not be very useful to you. So I guess that's the assurance that Senator Wakoli is looking for. And we also want to emphasize that your audit committee should be a tool that you use to improve your operations, improve your systems, improve your controls. It is not just a job for the boys. Governor?
Chair, you know, there were maybe a point of clarification. They actually come from Bungoma, but they don't reside in Bungoma. And also competitively sourced. But I know, like you said, maybe the challenges of, we had a bit of challenges in terms of cash flow, and that delayed a bit of meeting. But that's not to say that they should not be more active and more useful than they have been. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Any other observation, honorable members? Now, Governor, I will give you an opportunity to make closing remarks. And Senator Wakoli, if there's still something that has not been said, we will donate our time to you for the closing remarks. So, Governor, your closing remarks.
Thank you so much on behalf of the team from Bungoma. I want to thank you and all those who are here. And just to say it has been a very interactive session. This is the way it should be. We come here to improve on where we have weaknesses and also to point out areas that need more emphasis the way we have done. I think there's a lot of improvement. I remember during my first term, it was very acrimonious. Sometimes it would even turn physical. But when I also came around as a speaker, I tried to create an environment where we come and have this kind of cordial discussions and engagements which improve devolution at the end of the day. So I want to say thank you. The areas you have pointed out, I'll take it upon myself to take action where I need to take action and to improve. And maybe next time when we appear here, you will not see the same issues that have been raised in this audit discussions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Governor. County Assembly, I ought to have given you an opportunity to say something if there was anything you needed to say before the Governor. Chairman, is there anything you want to say? Very, very brief closing remarks.
Well, thank you, Chair. First, I would like to thank the interlocution or the work we have done today. First, I would like to appreciate the invitation. We, as the County Assembly, I would like to request our Honorable Governor that you make sure that your CCM and Chief Officers actually be providing information in case the auditors request. You know, there are some simple issues that have been mentioned here. Such issues could have been solved at the county level. They could not have escalated up to this level. To Honorable Chair, with our reports, we have actually done, and we, after adoption by the County Assembly on the floor, we shall also make sure that we share. We are going to come up with proper recommendations. And I also urge the executive that in all circumstances actually be taken serious with the recommendations that we normally do at our County Assembly. Let them implement the way we normally come up with those recommendations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, Honourable Member. We are impressed that you have made progress on the report. That's how it should be. Ideally, maybe governors should first clear with the County Assembly before they come to the Senate, so that we are not asking the same questions at both levels. Ultimately, we'll get there. Honourable Wakoli.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. I want to appreciate my governor and the team for coming. Through the leadership of our chair, I hope that the detailed interrogation that we have had will have a positive impact in our various departments and committees and be able to transform our county into an icon of devolution. So I'm looking forward for a serious reawakening and therefore making our people proud. So I wish you journey masses back home. We will meet there and continue making Bungoma great. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator and Governor. Just in closing, we consider you too big to fail. You have been a governor, a senator, speaker, governor again. If you do not succeed, then it will be an indictment on the senators who want to be governors. And this room is full of them, from Kitui to Vihiga to Nandi to Bungoma. All of them would want to go and serve in the counties. But if the former Speaker of the Senate cannot be successful, then it will give a bad name to those who have been in the Senate. So you must succeed, and we will help you succeed. We will push you to succeed. We will whip you to succeed. You have no option. And the people of Bungoma should also be able to enjoy the fruits of devolution. I've just been joined by the chair of the Public Investment Committee, the Senator Osotsi, Senator from Vihiga. Senator Osotsi, we were doing our closing remarks, but since you're here, you can go on record.
Chair, I didn't come to attend this meeting. I came to share something with you. But I'm Godfrey Osotsi, Senator Vihiga County. Welcome.
You are welcome. He's also the deputy leader of a party, just like the governor. I think used to be the deputy leader of a party.
I am still the deputy party leader of the second oldest party in the Republic of Kenya called Ford Kenya.
Now I need to close this meeting before we go further.